Hey guys, GHAZZY here with another Path of Exile 2 video. A little update on the Storm Mage build. I think the tooltip is still bugged. I'm going to try relogging. So I wanted to make a little showcase on a Citadel tier 16. And basically get you guys updated on the progression that I've been doing on a little bit higher budget version of the build. Essentially, the early stage of it, there's some issues with it, which can be compensated with some better gear. I'll walk you guys through it. Let me just see if the tooltip is still bugged. It is. Okay, it was 16,000 before. We are now using a level 19 skill gem. I can't use the level 20 just yet. Yes, I need level 90 for that, which will give about 12.5% more damage. It's quite extensive. Skill tree hasn't changed. Same percentages as before. It's all covered in the build guide. Linked in the written guide. Linked in the written guide below. However, we are using something like this, which is Heroic Tragedy for the higher budget version. Not sure how much this one's going for. It was about 20x. It's 30 now. We use this in this position to grab Knightly Tenets. This makes it so we don't get any mana from our intelligence, but instead we get evasion rating for intelligence, since we're only using evasion on our body armor together with bestial skin oil on our amulet, same as before. This allows me to, in this current state, have 76% evasion, which is quite a lot. This combined with Ghost Dance allows me to recover energy shield. It makes the build very tanky, feels very comfortable to play. You're not immortal, but you're very tanky. You have about 5,500 energy shield with this. We are using Weapon Swap 1 skills for all of our minion nodes, and then having Weapon Swap 2, having nodes picked up for skill effect duration and AoE. This is something that you can scale with quality, for example, with some etchers on the Chinese staff, which allows us to have a massive radius and duration of the sigil, which is quite nice to have. We can ramp that up, which is tons and tons and tons of single target damage. However, gear-wise, obviously we're looking for some decent spirit, but +4 level of minion skills. I think that with the current changes that I've seen, I think the priority of stats on a scepter should be level of minions, of course, but then you should have a priority of allies in your presence deal increased damage, then spirit. As I tried using a scepter that had 55 spirit and less damage, and that was actually lower damage output, even though I got an extra minion out of it. It was actually less damage than what this one's doing. I am currently using one Ventress Gamble. I don't think one is bad to run with. However, my rarity on this is ±0. But having one Ventress Gamble is not a bad thing, preferably having high spirit on this, obviously. Outside of that, I am using a +3 lightning skill Sun Splinter. I had a +2 before. This is a massive damage increase. Other than that, it's the same gear as we had before. All of it is linked in the description below for the build guide. I don't want to go through all of the details too much, since the Britain build guide is covering it all in the previous videos. It's literally the same thing. I've just upgraded my weapon and my shield, and same jewels and everything as last time. And that's about it. And you'll see, and the level of my gems is higher as well, since I have level 19, and I added the jewel. So that's kind of the differences. So this is a Stone Citadel with a tier 16 map. What's the map mods? Nothing specific, nothing scary with this. And you'll see how the clear speed is already significantly better. For the most part, I'll be able to basically walk through content, as long as it's not super juiced up content. However, my minions are still having the survivability issues of being pretty squishy with this setup right now, which means that if an enemy boss in a map like this will be doing some bigger AoE attacks, I will be experiencing my entire army being wiped from the face of the earth, which is quite frustrating. And that's currently the biggest downside of minions. This has been reported to GGG. I spoke to Jonathan about it as well, and he said he was going to look into it. Whether or not that means there's going to be any changes to it or not, I have no idea. So I wanted to show you some gameplay footage of the build, and you can see how the comparison to what I've shown and done before with minion builds, how much of a big difference the level of gems is doing for the build. As of now, I'm able to have only a handful of my minions would be enough to kill white packs of enemies, even blue packs of enemies, simply because of the damage output, and that is basically how you make the minions feel better. Now, obviously, comparing this to like meta builds like Lightning Spears and whatnot, don't do it. Just don't compare it. As long as you don't compare it to the outlier, super high-end meta build performers, the build's pretty good. It does decent damage. It'll clear everything, and it feels good. And I feel like the sustain of using the evasion strategy that we're running is also a pretty solid approach to playing the game in terms of defenses. We've done some proper testing with a full-blown Mind Over Matter setup. It was just not as good as this. It wasn't as reliable. The damage you gained from it wasn't worth it. I've tried Pure Ready Shield with block. It's the same thing there. It's not necessarily the best approach, but you can definitely have a higher max hit approach to it. So you can do that, but I didn't feel like it was worth it compared to the evasion setup, which only cost me the Ghost Dance Reservation to get to this level of defense. I'm literally just able to walk into a pack of enemies. Now, obviously, again, I'm not immortal because the evasion works in a system called entropy. But it feels extremely comfortable. Can my minions go through? Thank you. So I'm going to clear off the rares, and then once we're done with the rares, we'll do the boss, and I'll show you guys the damage on there as well. But this is what I've been playing. Not meta, since Lightning Spear exists in the game. But it is very fun to play. That's why I enjoy playing it. Been having a lot of fun with doing minions and all testing. So I think my next project is going to be some either Lich with some unearthed shenanigans, maybe some more Spectre stuffs. Potentially looking into some brute builds as well. We obviously have the Frost Mage to play as well, and some Infernalist Zoomancer approach. There's quite a few things I've still yet to play test. However, in the next couple of days, I will be exclusively focusing on Last Epoch for a few days at least. Once I'm done with that focus, I'll be weaving both Last Epoch and Path of Exile 2. That's the current plan. Hope you guys will enjoy that. At least I'm excited for it. I think the season is going to be absolutely astonishing. Unearthed in this economy, they say. There's some pretty cool mechanics that you can do with weapon swapping to a sacrifice aura setup with like 30, 40 terracotta soldiers to soak them up for Unearthed, which is actually quite cool. Whether or not it's going to be good for clearing, since they actually you can't outrun them, is a different question, which we're going to figure out as we play test it. But for this build, I mean, as you can see, I'm just basically just ranting whilst you guys are watching the gameplay footage at this point. But it feels good. And mostly this comes down to having better gear, allowing me to be in a position where the damage is enough that 1, 2, maybe 3 of my minions is attacking. And that's just enough to make the build feel a lot more comfortable than it did before. Since the damage is enough, it's sufficient. As before that, I would have to go through a bit of a process to try to get my minions in range to actually do damage. You don't really have that issue when you do enough damage from per individual minion instead. And that's basically how you get a significantly smoother experience of clearing with the build. And a lot of people have been saying like Volgards are better. Volgards are better on the early stage of budget where you don't really have much gear. They're a little bit annoying due to the delay, however, but they are performing a bit better when you have really bad gear. But as long as you compare 1-to-1 with the same gear, the better gear you have, the better the Storm Mages perform, both in clearing but also in single target damage output. And you don't really need much for the you don't need much for kill it, thank you. You don't need much for the Storm Mages to perform better than Volgards. Let's go do the boss. Moving up. Here's the boss encounter. Start with Sigil of Power, juice it up, and we'll see what happens. It all depends if he's going to do a big AoE attack or not. We'll see. There we go. Put the voltaic mark on him. Wait for the shock to apply. Come on. Shock him this side of Christmas, please. No shocks. Justify the means. Okay. Come on, dude. Aren't you supposed to be transitioning his face? I can't give up. What level is this? That's a +2. There we go. So this is a +2. No, I will succeed. And comparing this to like meta builds is like, but this is a +2 fight. I cannot allow you to interfere. There's my shock. Now it's my damage. Here we go. It's a little bit better when you have the shock up. A little bit unfortunate there. We're not getting the shock up at all. You could drop one and have 2 shock bots. to have the shock more reliable. Might be better for bossing to actually do that. But that's basically the damage. As you can see, as soon as you get a shock up, you have exposure, you have 41% more damage. Like, your damage just goes crazy once you get that shock up. So what you could do is drop one of these to have double shock boss if you want to. Not necessarily needed, but it definitely felt like it needed there in the first place. But that's the update I have for this guide, and I'm having a lot of fun with this build. I think it performs really well, but I don't think we're going to be doing any more videos on this, as there's not much else to cover. It's yeah, the big difference is just level of gems, and we added this jewel for better sustainability of our evasion, and that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, stay safe and keep rocking.